A city's faith shattered, trust broken, and the guardians of peace exposed. Welcome to the story of the Rampart Scandal. In the closing years of the 20th century, the City of Angels bore witness to a scandal that would forever tarnish the reputation of its heralded protectors, the Los Angeles Police Department. The Rampart Scandal, a chilling saga of corruption and criminality, unfolded within the very institution tasked with upholding justice and maintaining order. The Rampart Division, a sector of the LAPD, was home to the Crash anti-gang unit. This team was intended to be a bulwark against gang violence, a beacon of hope amidst the chaos. Yet it was within this unit that an unprecedented level of corruption took root. Over 70 officers were implicated in a vast array of misconduct that included shootings, beatings, planting false evidence, stealing and dealing narcotics, perjury, and even cover-ups. In a shocking indictment of the system, out of the 70 implicated, only 58 faced an internal administrative board. Even more alarming, a mere 24 were found guilty. The ripple effects of this scandal were far-reaching, leading to the overturning of 106 criminal convictions. The city of Los Angeles, once a symbol of the American dream, found itself at the center of a nightmare. The scandal shook the city to its core, resulting in over 140 civil lawsuits against the city, draining it of a staggering $125 million in settlements. The scandal not only shattered the public's faith in their protectors, but also led to significant political fallout. It contributed to the defeat of Mayor James Hahn and the non-rehiring of Police Chief Bernard C. Parks. This isn't just a tale of corruption, it's a journey into the depths of the LAPD's darkest hour. Every scandal has a spark, a point of ignition. For the Rampart scandal, it began with a single gunshot. Picture a typical day in Los Angeles. Officer Kevin Gaines, a member of the Crash anti-gang unit, is out on the streets. Suddenly, a road rage incident escalates and undercover officer Frank Liga pulls the trigger. Gaines is down. The spark of the Rampart scandal has been lit. Now imagine the tension in the air as the investigation unfolds. The LAPD is under scrutiny, its own officer accused of taking down one of their own. But in a twist of fate, Liga is exonerated. The gunshot that started it all doesn't end in a conviction. Instead, it uncovers a web of corruption far more extensive than anyone could have imagined. This gunshot didn't just take a life, it exposed the underbelly of an institution trusted to uphold the law. It was the spark that ignited a scandal that would rock Los Angeles to its core. One officer down, one scandal ignited. When one domino falls, the rest follow suit. The Rampart scandal was no exception. It was a chain reaction, a cascade of events, each one more shocking than the last. Take David Mack, a sworn officer of the LAPD. While most of us see a bank as a symbol of security, Mack saw it as an opportunity. He masterminded a bank robbery, a crime that would eventually land him in prison. But this was just one domino in the line. Brian Hewitt, another officer in the tainted Crash anti-gang unit, fell next. He didn't rob a bank, but he robbed a man of his dignity and his rights. Hewitt beat a suspect in custody, a clear violation of the trust placed in him. He was fired, another domino knocked down by the hand of corruption. But the line of dominoes didn't end there. Rafael Perez, a 9-year veteran of the LAPD, was the next to fall. Perez was arrested for stealing cocaine from the evidence room. That's right, the very drugs he was supposed to be keeping off the streets were found in his possession. The irony was as bitter as it was tragic. Yet even as he fell, Perez managed to knock down a few more dominoes. He struck a deal with investigators, agreeing to provide information about misconduct by other officers in exchange for a reduced sentence. His revelations implicated around 70 officers, though only a dozen faced consequences. And so, the dominoes of the Rampart scandal continued to fall, each one revealing a new layer of corruption and betrayal. Officers implicated, careers ruined, trust shattered, and an entire city left to grapple with the aftermath. The dominoes had fallen, but the real fallout was just beginning. Caught in the crosshairs, Rafael Perez made a deal that would shake the LAPD to its core. Picture this, a 9-year veteran of the force, Perez had been caught stealing cocaine from the evidence room. Suddenly, the hunter had become the hunted. Faced with the prospect of a lengthy sentence, Perez made a choice that would forever taint the image of the LAPD. He decided to collaborate with the investigators, to offer up information about misconduct by his fellow officers. It was a desperate move, a Hail Mary, a deal with the devil. But what unfolded was more than anyone had anticipated. Perez, the former enforcer of the law, now turned whistleblower, began to paint a picture of corruption that was as shocking as it was widespread. The tales he told were not of a few bad apples, but of a veritable orchard of corruption. His words implicated not one, not two, but around 70 officers in misconduct. These were not minor transgressions but serious offenses: shootings, beatings, planting false evidence, perjury, narcotics dealing, and more. Perez's revelations were like a blowtorch to a powder keg, igniting a firestorm of controversy and leading to a massive internal investigation. Out of the 70 officers implicated, 58 would face an internal administrative board. Of these, 24 would be found guilty. It was a staggering blow to the LAPD, a force that was supposed to uphold the law, not break it. But perhaps the most significant fallout from Perez's deal was not the individual officers implicated. It was the exposure of a systemic rot within the LAPD, a corruption that had taken root and festered within its ranks. Perez's deal didn't just implicate officers, it exposed a systemic rot. In the aftermath of the scandal, the LAPD and the city of Los Angeles would never be the same. The fallout was like a shockwave, ripping through the city's justice system and leaving a trail of overturned convictions in its wake. Over 100 convictions were reversed, the echoes of past wrongs reverberating through the courtroom. In the shadow of this monumental scandal, justice had to be reevaluated, redefined, and reclaimed. But the shock didn't stop there. It tore through the fabric of the city, resulting in an avalanche of civil lawsuits. Over 140 suits were filed against the city, a number that seemed as staggering as the accusations themselves. The financial cost was astronomical, reaching a staggering $125 million in settlements. It was a price tag that mirrored the magnitude of the betrayal the city had experienced. The political landscape of the city was not insulated from the shockwave either. The scandal played a significant role in the defeat of Mayor James Hahn, a stark reminder of the political cost of failing to maintain the integrity of the city's guardians. Police Chief Bernard C. Parks also found himself caught in the fallout, with the city deciding not to rehire him. The Rampart Scandal had effectively redrawn the political map of Los Angeles. In the wake of such a vast scandal, the city and its guardians were forever changed. The trust that had been breached would take years if not decades to rebuild. The lessons learned from the Rampart Scandal would resonate through the halls of the LAPD and echo in the streets of Los Angeles for years to come. It was a stark reminder of the importance of integrity, accountability, and transparency, not just in law enforcement, but in all forms of public service. The Rampart Scandal didn't just expose corruption, it changed the face of a city and its guardians forever. The echoes of the Rampart Scandal are still heard today, a chilling reminder of the depths of corruption. The shockwaves sent by the scandal were far-reaching, leading to a significant restructuring of the Los Angeles Police Department. This was a time of reckoning, a time when the very fabric of law enforcement was questioned and scrutinized. The scandal resulted in the overturning of over 100 criminal convictions and led to a staggering number of civil lawsuits against the city. These cases cost the city a hefty sum, totaling over $125 million in settlements. The Rampart Scandal also had a profound impact on the political landscape of Los Angeles. It contributed to the defeat of Mayor James Hahn and the non-rehiring of Police Chief Bernard C. Parks. This scandal served as a wake-up call, prompting law enforcement agencies across the country to reevaluate their practices and policies. It underscored the need for transparency, accountability, and the importance of checks and balances within the system. The Rampart Scandal, a chilling tale of corruption, serves as a stark reminder. Even those tasked with upholding the law can sometimes be the ones to break it.